I'm not finished yet. And you're not finished with me. You're never finished with me.
The Dark Knight Returns is an animated superhero film released by Warner Bros. Entertainment in 2 parts on September 25th, 2012 and January 29th, 2013, respectively. Based on the Frank Miller and Klaus Janson comic book of the same name, the film was written by Bob Goodman and directed by Jay Olivia. The film stars Peter Weller, Ariel Winter, David Selby, Michael Emerson, and Mark Valley. Though it is widely known that DC's track record for producing live-action projects has been spotty in recent years, it is perhaps less known that they've been able to achieve more consistent success in their animated ventures. A prime example of this comes with the animated feature-length telling of The Dark Knight Returns, based on the seminal story told by comic book legend Frank Miller. So with a story that set the foundation for DC live-action projects, and the voice of RoboCop bringing the Batman to life, what can we expect from this venture? Will it stack up to its live-action counterparts? In this review, we look to the sky, praying for a signal of hope, the hope that the Batman will rise to the occasion. Just as a warning to everyone here, there will be major spoilers ahead. If you wish to see this movie for yourself without knowing anything beforehand, please click off the video now. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. The story begins in Gotham City in the 1980s, following a now 55-year-old Bruce Wayne, who retired the Batman moniker 10 years ago. Though many of Batman's foes have disappeared since his retirement, crime rates have erupted, rising to all-time highs as a new gang called the Mutants establish a bloody empire in Gotham City. Bearing witness to the escalating violence with the Mutants, reminiscing about the events of his past, and learning that Harvey Dent had disappeared after presumably being rehabilitated, Bruce once again takes up the mantle of Batman. Batman begins a crusade against Gotham's underbelly, specifically targeting the mutants. While doing this, Batman uncovers and foils a suicidal plot by Two-Face to destroy the Gotham Life building. At the end of their confrontation, the two share words, lamenting how no matter what they do, they cannot escape who they really are. Despite his age, Batman takes on the new threats to Gotham, winning time and again. But his tactics are more brutal than they were before. This draws both praise and scorn from the general public and the Gotham City Police, with a new generation of officers, especially soon-to-be Commissioner Ellen Yindel, labeling him a threat. On the flip side, Batman's actions inspire a teenage girl named Carrie Kelly. She dons a Robin costume and begins training herself to be a crime fighter. Batman's investigation of the mutants leads him to Gotham's dump, where he engages the entire mutant force with the Batmobile. Batman engages the mutant leader in hand-to-hand combat, nearly being killed in the process. But with some unexpected help from Carrie Kelly, Batman subdues and defeats the mutant leader. The mayor of Gotham, who stands against Batman, elects to sit down and discuss terms with the mutant leader. But the mutant leader kills the mayor, leading Batman, the soon-to-retire Commissioner James Gordon, and Carrie Kelly as the newly minted Robin to hatch a plan. The plan leads to the mutant leader being sprung from jail and escaping through the sewage pipes, where he will be met by the Batman and his entire army of mutant onlookers gathered by a disguised Carrie to witness their fight. Batman faces the mutant leader, taking him apart blow by blow until he is defeated. The mutants disband, splintering off into various smaller factions, including one that dubbed themselves the Sons of the Batman. Commissioner Gordon retires from the GCPD, and after spending years in a catatonic state, the Joker awakens. Batman begins an investigation into the Joker, following his appearance being scheduled on a nighttime talk show, but it is stalled by the untimely arrival of Superman, acting on orders from President Ronald Reagan. Superman insists that Batman cease his activities, reminding him how the Justice League agreed to disband 10 years ago, and how the death of former Robin, Jason Todd, drove Bruce into retirement. Batman mocks Superman for his choice to act as an errand boy to the government, and simply says that when the time comes, may the best man win. Batman goes to the studio where Joker will be broadcasted, but he is prevented from entering the building by a police task force led by new Commissioner Yindel, who forces Batman to retreat. The Joker executes his plan, unleashing canisters of laughing gas, killing the talk show audience, its hosts, and his own psychiatrist. After the trail goes cold, a congressman declares that the U.S. should launch a strike against the island of Corto Maltese, where the U.S. and the Soviet Union are locked in battle, before falling to his death from a hotel balcony. Batman traces the act back to Selina Kyle, who warns Batman that Joker had used mind-controlling lipstick to carry out the act. Several more clues lead Batman and Robin to the fairgrounds, where Joker is waiting for them. While Robin deals with his henchmen, Batman takes on the Joker, revealing to the clown that he's finally had enough. They get into a vicious fight, which ultimately ends in Batman breaking the Joker's neck. Joker gloats over Batman, saying he finally caused Batman to break, taunting him with his victory before killing himself by fully breaking his own neck. Batman escapes as the police close in on the scene, returning to the Batcave with Robin to recover from his wounds, while the government of Gotham begins a full-blown manhunt. The battle between the US and the Soviet Union in Corto Maltese escalates, leading the Soviets to launch a nuclear missile against the island. Though Superman redirects the missile, causing it to explode in the atmosphere, the resulting electromagnetic discharge knocks out power across the United States. As chaos erupts across the country, with violence and looting running rampant, parts of the United States are placed under martial law. But the Batman responds to the crisis by taking charge of the Sons of Batman, utilizing them as an impromptu police force. With the Sons of Batman enforcing justice on the streets, and the citizens of Gotham stepping up to help one another, Gotham City quickly becomes one of the safest cities during the blackout. Though Commissioner Yindel allows Batman to operate, seeing the good work he has done, President Reagan orders Superman and the military to take down Batman, as his actions have led to great scorn being leveled against the US government. Using an advanced power suit, Batman engages Superman, while Robin keeps the military occupied with the Batmobile. Though the fight is brutal, Batman, with some help from former Green Arrow Oliver Queen and a kryptonite arrow, is able to defeat Superman. Batman lords over Superman, telling him to remember who beat him, before appearing to suffer from a heart attack, dying where he stands. At the same time, Alfred destroys Wayne Manor, and any evidence of the Batman's operation along with it, before suffering a stroke and dying himself. At the funeral for Bruce Wayne, Superman as Clark Kent mourns his death, but as he turns to leave, he hears a heartbeat, and with that, it is revealed Bruce Wayne is still alive. In the final moments of the movie, Bruce, Carrie, Oliver, and the reorganized Sons of Batman and mutants go into hiding, beginning a new operation where they will enforce justice from the shadows. After years of searching for a good death, Bruce is now ready to begin a good life. So based on the plot summary above, you would be forgiven for thinking that this is a disjointed ride-along that exists purely to create chaos and get kids' adrenaline pumping. But you'd be wrong about that for two reasons. One, this is one that you really shouldn't be showing the kids. And two, it actually does a hell of a lot more than your classic Batman beat-em-up cartoons. The biggest strength of The Dark Knight Returns comes in its structure and pacing. While there's undoubtedly a lot of stuff going on in this movie, it manages to keep everything tied together in a logical way while still maintaining good flow. Every major story beat or moment of action-packed thrills is usually followed up by a news broadcast, which not only neatly sums up everything that just happened, but also works to set up what's coming next. These quiet moments give you the chance to process everything that's happened up to this point, while also setting the stage for the next big thing. This not only allows the story to make more sense, but also to effectively build from a relatively small beginning to an epic showdown that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. While the structure is important to the success of this movie, it couldn't have worked without a good story, and the movie definitely delivers in that department. Everything about the story is unique, and provides Batman fans with a totally fresh take on the mythos. Whether it is the idea of an aged Batman attempting to move on from his crime-fighting past, his inner struggle to process the events that shaped him into who he is, being faced with adversaries in the forms of villains, the police, and the public, and getting a glimpse into the public's psyche and how Batman's actions have a ripple effect on the future. Everything in this story not only works, but works together to make something more memorable than you would expect. More memorable in a good way, that is. Why did you say that? The angles, or I suppose panels in each scene are very deliberately set up, with close-ups, faraways, and panning shots amplifying the mood, while the set pieces such as empty booze glasses, zoomed-in face shots, and first-person views give insight into what's happening by putting you right in the character's shoes. Going along with this visual flair is a very solid sound design. While most of the sound effects aren't especially unique, they work to add a third dimension to what you see on screen. Bullets impacting targets, the creaking of joints, and the pitter-patter of droplets of rain, or in some cases blood, are all minor details that could have been overlooked. But the fact that they are used means the viewers are given a whole new sense of attachment to the events unfolding. And for those of you who've seen this movie, you know I'm bringing that up because of the cherry on the sundae. That is, of course, the moment the Joker's neck is broken. I guess in that case you have two choices. But either way, the sound effect they use is so brilliantly realistic that I actually need to stop talking about it because I'm on the verge of puking on my mic just thinking about it. Moving on. The dialogue is very tightly written, going to great lengths to be as natural as possible while still leaving room for sweeping and dramatic monologues, while also balancing the goofy isms of speech that reinforce the 1980s setting. In almost any other situation, it's likely that this combo would have led to a super awkward and jumpy hodgepodge of scenes that would work about as well as eye drops infused with lemon juice. But here, all of these elements blend into one another and bounce off each other, without ever becoming too overbearing, and still having room to explore some more layered and complex story beats. This is helped along by an absolutely phenomenal voice cast, who bring all the right amounts of style and substance to the characters they play, no matter how big or small the role might be. There are times, however, where the tone of the movie can be a little unbalanced. While for the most part the movie makes the transition from a hopeless, downtrodden Gotham and Batman to one that is more lively and hopeful for the future, there are certain moments that don't make much sense. This mostly comes down to the preconceived notion that Batman is a man of moral piety who never takes a life unless necessary. But then you see his Batcopter equipped with anti-tank missiles flattening entire columns of cop cars, his Batmobile equipped with tank guns blowing entire squads of mutants to high hell, and his high-wire episodes of physically and psychologically tormenting people to the point of breaking them. It's just something of a plot hole to have a Batman who does not kill unless absolutely and unavoidably necessary, being equipped with enough firepower and weaponized gadgets to wipe Gotham off the map, and then have him use those things regularly. I know it's a function of this movie being a cartoon about a superhero, but it's still an issue, just like it would be in any other action movie, and just like it is in many other superhero flicks. But those are complaints for another day. The final rating for this Slice and Dice is 8.5 out of 10. While still very much an animated superhero feature at heart, it goes above and beyond the competition with its distinct visual and sound design, unforgettable storytelling, and superb acting and writing. If you have interest in exploring the near-endless catalog of animated superhero feature films, you can bet that this would be a good place to start. It's also a good exercise in how not to make a raging dumpster fire out of a concept as cool as Batman vs. Superman. But hey, maybe that's just my opinion or something. That's all we've got for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel it's worth the while, consider liking, sharing, or subscribing. And if there's a movie you want to see reviewed, leave your suggestions down in the comments. Also, if you're feeling especially generous, consider following me on Twitter at Untrained for updates and other nonsense. There's plenty more to come, so if you care enough to return for it, then I'll see you when I see you.